Tallin is a rising star in the tourism world, mainly due to its perfectly preserved old town. It's bursting with quaint sightseeing options. Among Nordic medieval cities, there's none nearly as well kept as Tallin. It's a diamond in the Baltic and one of my favorite ports. Let's get started. Starting with port logistics, there are several ways to sightsee the city. The most popular is simply walk to Old Town by following the blue line painted on the pavement to exit the port gate. The cruise line also offered a $15 shuttle bus that dropped you off near the Viru Hotel at the south end of the Old Town. City Sightseeing offers a hop-on, hop-off bus tour, which you can use for outlying sites such as the Cadreorg Park or the Estonian Open Air Museum, and it meets each arriving ship. And lastly, you can take a taxi whose driver will be happy to overcharge you for the ride. So if you use a taxi, insist on a metered fare. Tallinn is easy to get to for cruisers. The Old Town is within walking distance from the port, and Old Town itself has the sights you most want to see. There's no reason to take a ship excursion here, so enjoy the Old Town's old world ambiance. Within Old Town, there were several museums that we wanted to tour, so we bought a 24-hour Tallinn card in advance. It gives you free use of public transport and entry to more than 40 museums and major sites. It cost about $48, and you can buy the card online and download it to your phone at www.tallincard.ee. Tallinn's Old Town for me is a must-see sight. It's a well-preserved medieval center with cobblestone lanes, gabled houses, historic churches, and turreted city walls. Walking and taking in the sights of both the upper and lower town will take you about 2 hours, not counting any time you might spend climbing the church towers or touring the museums. Many of the Old Town's buildings are truly old. They are from the boom time in the 15th and 16th century. Once you've walked about 15 minutes, you'll reach the lower town that starts at the Fat Margaret Tower. The lower town was the autonomous Hanseatic trading center filled with German, Danish, and Swedish merchants. They hired Estonians to do their menial labor. Enter the Old Town via the archway that guarded it in the medieval times and was a defensive post. The relief above the gate dates from the 16th century. The Fat Margaret Tower also houses a maritime museum. It has a rooftop terrace as well for spectacular views of the city. Entry to the museum was free with our Tallinn card. Continue down Pick Street, also known as Long Street, and you'll come to the Three Sisters, merchant homes, warehouses, and offices of the Hanseatic League. Each building has its own signature crane on its gable. Next, you'll find the Gothic St. Olaf's Church. It once had the tallest spire in the land, meaning that it was also a very good lightning rod. Lightning strikes caused the church to burn to the ground 3 times. Such an exquisite interior. The church is one of the many opportunities you'll have to climb a tower to get magnificent views of the Old Town. At Pick Street number 59, you'll find the pre-1991 sinister local KGB headquarters where creative interrogation methods were used. Tallinn's troublemakers were normally sent to the Siberian gulags once they were finished here. Next is the Town Hall Square. It's the heart and center of the merchant city of the Hanseatic traders. Some additional town square sites. See if you can find the hidden gem of the Green Dragon when you visit. In the corner of the town square is the Repatique, or pharmacy. It dates back to 1422 and claims to be Europe's oldest. Take a peek inside. It's free to enter to see its medieval decor. The still operating pharmacy welcomes visitors with painted ceiling beams and long expired aspirins. Past the functioning counter is a room of display cases with historical exhibits. We next visited the 13th century Gothic St. Nicholas Church, or the Nicolista Kirche. The church has an elevator that takes you to the top of the tower if you don't want to climb the 233 steps. The views of the Old Town were amazing from this vantage point, and the Tallin card provided free entry. The interior of St. Nicholas Church. Next, we climbed to the Upper Town and were greeted by its city walls and gardens. These will lead you to a stout round tower with extremely tight, twisty, steep stone staircases. This is Keek in de Kook, or Low German for peek in the kitchen, because the top of the tower is situated to allow the guards to literally peek into the townspeople's homes. We saw how Tallin was defended and how war had been waged through the years. Cannons, uniformed mannequins, model ships, and movies that gave us a taste of Tallin's medieval ages. We climbed the 5 flights in the tower for some great views as well, and be sure to climb the rectangular maiden tower for its views as well. We also used our Tallin card here. Below the Keek in de Kook are the Bastion Passages and the Carved Stone Museum. It's an underground museum in the tunnels beneath the city. While it's nice, it took about 20 minutes, and if you're pressed for time, it's something I would skip. From the tunnels, you enter Freedom Square, which is more reflective of modern Tallinn and has a distinctive Soviet influence. The Upper Town also has the Russian Orthodox Cathedral, which is simply spectacular. It gives you a close-up look at the Russian Orthodox faith with its luxurious interior. While it would have been great to capture photos of it, pictures were not allowed inside. The church is free and open to the public, so as we did, step inside. Be respectful as services may be in progress. One thing we noted, there are no pews in the church as the worshipers stand during the services. The Pink Palace is Tumpi Castle. Today it's the Estonian Parliament building and flies the blue, black, and white Estonian flag. We took a free 1-hour English guided tour of the Parliament building, which was really quite informative. You'll notice the recurring theme of triangles in the design. It reminds the parliamentarians that every issue has several facets, and it is here where contradicting positions are discussed, debated, and eventually resolved. Right behind the Parliament building is the tall Herman Tower. It's the tallest tower of the castle wall and a powerful symbol. For 50 years, Estonian flags were hidden in cellars, and the Soviet flag flew from Tall Herman. As the USSR unraveled, Estonians proudly replaced the red Soviet flag with their own. The cheesy medieval Old Hansa restaurant with its bonneted waitresses and merry men are near the southern gates of the old town. It might be nice to stop in for lunch and partake of its atmosphere. The Viru Gates medieval arches mark the end of Old Tallinn. We then walked to the nearest skyscraper, the Hotel Viru. It was built in 1972 and catered to foreign visitors and the KGB. In Soviet times, it was the biggest hotel in the Baltics. And guess what? The top floor was occupied by the KGB. Now it houses the KGB Museum of Artifacts from the hotel itself, as well as the KGB staff. Locals joke that Hotel Viru was built from a new Soviet wonder material called microconcrete. 60% concrete, 40% microphones, since so many listening devices were found once Estonia decoupled from the Soviet Union. In the lower left-hand corner, it shows obituaries for 2 different leaders, the same verbiage for each, just with different faces and dates. While the hotel's rooftop bar was closed, our guide opened it briefly so we could capture another fantastic view of the city. There are so many other wonderful sights in Tallinn, so we'll share some more of them. We simply loved sightseeing in Tallinn. Its beautiful old town was filled with the old world charm, stunning architecture, and the rich history of the Hanseatic times. I knew very little about Tallinn before visiting and was amazed at the wonderful sights. Another tip when visiting, remember to bring a jacket as Tallinn can be chilly even on sunny summer days. The cobblestone streets make sturdy shoes a must as well. Thanks for watching.